that realization that there's nothing that can be done, right? There's nothing I can do to bring him back. And my love, I have all the love. I would cut off every limb. I would trade places with him. I would do anything. And I can't. And that was tough.
Hey everybody, it's me, Shay. Welcome to Grief Witnessed, where we remember, where we tell the stories, and where grief is allowed to exist without fixing it. All right, everybody, I am here with one of my widowed friends named Abby, who I met. She's in our Young Hot Widows of Utah group. Welcome, Abby.
Thanks
for joining
for having me.
Your husband is Brennan, correct?
Husband's Brennan, yes.
Brennan, okay.
Yeah.
How long ago did Brennan pass?
It's actually 10 months today.
I know I say it's recent. It still feels really recent.
It feels very fresh. Yeah. In a lot of ways.
Yeah. First, I want to know your favorite thing about Brennan.
Oh my goodness. I could talk for the rest of my life about Brennan and not be done saying all the things that I love about him. I'm already going to cry. Oh my goodness. This isn't a good sign. I'm already getting emotional. Yeah, I think Brennan to me was everything, is everything. He checked every single box I didn't even know I had. Mm-hmm. Handsome, the smartest guy I've ever met, hilarious, always cracking jokes. But my favorite thing about him was his heart. He was just the kindest. And I know a lot of people say that, but just one of those people that looks out for the person that doesn't have anyone else, who always tries to make people feel included and loved. He made me the center of everything all the time.
Oh, I got goosebumps. I love that.
And yeah, anytime I met anyone, they were like, oh, I know all about you. They knew more about me than like, I'm like, how did you know that about me? Because he just talked about me everywhere he went. So he was just one of those people that lit up a room and just loved people, no matter where they came from, no matter who they were or what they were about. He just had this heart that was bigger than life. And I learned so much from him, and I continue to.
I love that. Yeah, you said he was in medical school?
He was in medical school, yeah. He was finishing up his second year, starting his third year rotations when everything happened. But yeah, he was in medical school, and his patients loved him. They loved him so much, and he's just so good with people. So
yeah, you said he was going into his third year?
Yeah.
When everything happened. Yeah, tell us what happened.
Yeah. So let's see. It was Wednesday night, and I had just had a long day at work.
What do you do for work?
I'm a nurse practitioner. Okay. So I was seeing patients all day and came home and was just feeling really overwhelmed. And Brennan had surprised me and picked up the house, and he had a milkshake, and he was just so sweet. And, you know, he spent the night studying next to me on the couch, and I was charting for my patients that day and catching up on some work. And he decided he wanted to play some pickup basketball at the church gym that was like 15 minutes from our house. You know, he always did it. He went like every few Wednesdays, like a couple Wednesdays a month, he would go. And I was like, no, don't leave me. Like, I want to hang out with you, you know? I want to hang out with you. Like, don't leave me to chart on my own. But he's like, I want to go play basketball. And I'm like, okay, you know, go have fun. So he left, and I kissed him goodbye, not thinking anything of it. He went to play basketball at like 8, maybe 8:30. And I'm just sitting there charting away. I think I have Love Island on or something. Like, I'm just in my own little world. My phone's on Do Not Disturb. And I look down, and all of a sudden there's a call that's coming through. And I'm like, who's calling me? Right? It's a number I don't have. Whenever I get a number I don't have, I'm just like, like, I'm not answering it. So I didn't answer it. And then the same number called again. And I'm like, what in the world? Mm-hmm. So I let it ring through, and I opened my phone. I have all these texts from people. Oh. And it's like, Brennan's getting CPR right now. Like, I just have a text that says Brennan's getting CPR. Like, I don't know what's going on. Someone told me that he's getting CPR. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, that's all I had. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I called the number that called me back. And the guy is like, basically Brennan collapsed. He was playing basketball, and he collapsed after he was playing. He said he felt kind of woozy and then just passed out, and that they were doing compressions and that the ambulance was there. And I was like, are they still doing compressions? Because at this point, someone had been trying to reach me for 10 minutes. Yeah. And I'm like, are they still doing compressions? Are they like, is he gone? Like, what is going on? And they're like, no, I think they're still doing compressions. I'm like, are they or aren't they? They couldn't really, it was just a whirlwind. I had no idea what was going on.
Mhm.
I didn't have my car because Brennan and I shared a car. And I was like, where do I go? What do I do? And they were like, go to the hospital. So I order an Uber
Gosh.
to go to the hospital. And I'm like calling his mama. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I think Brennan's like, I think he's like might be gone. I don't know what's going on. And so she's like, get off the phone. She like grounded me. She's like, get off the phone, go to the hospital, like go to the emergency room. So I like get all my stuff together. I have a dog, so I had to like put the dog away and like figure that all out, and called my mom because I'm like, Mom, like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like just talked to her with Brennan 2 hours before with her and my dad, and she walked me through it and like helped me get in the car. And luckily somebody actually came to pick me up, so I had to cancel my Uber. But someone came and picked me up, and we drove to the hospital. And I remember just like running into the emergency room, and I'm like freaking out. Like some people that I knew met me there. I don't know how they figured it out or whatever, but they were there, and um, they ushered me to a back room, and I'm trying not to vomit. Like I have a trash bag. I'm just like, are you like, what is going on? And the doctors come back, and I had gotten there before him, so it took a while for them to come back. And they said, your husband's very unwell. Like he's very sick, and I don't know what's going to happen. And I was like, I don't want to be in this room. I want to be next to him.
Yeah.
So they took me, and I went back to the bay where they do all the care, and got to watch them continue CPR. And they started something called ECMO, which helps essentially like perfuse the body for the person because his heart wasn't like operating correctly, wasn't beating correctly.
Yeah.
So they put him on that, and I had to watch them like do everything, which I'm so grateful that they did, but do everything to save him. And they ushered him upstairs to the ICU. And then I sat there for 12 hours outside of the ICU, panting and walking around and begging whoever is up there to help me, help him, save him. I'll do anything. Take me instead. All the things that go through your mind. I sat there. I didn't sleep a wink. I just sat out in the ICU waiting room. And eventually in the morning, they let me go in and sit next to him once things had settled a little bit. And he's hooked up to a million different things. And his family flew out, and my dad had, he was about to get open heart surgery, so he couldn't come, which was hard. But my mom was able to come, and some friends, and his family was able to come. And, we had like a day and a half with him before he passed away. And they did everything they could, and I'm so grateful that they tried. And I begged and begged, but he fought hard, and he didn't make it. And it was the most traumatic experience I've ever had, even like my years in healthcare. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. And obviously it's still fresh, and I think it's going to be for a while. It was so sudden and so unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what happened. And it turns out he had like an unknown heart condition. And yeah, and just had sudden cardiac arrest, and he didn't, get enough perfusion in time to be able to come out of it. Okay. And anyways, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's a lot. Sudden loss is so different than like slow loss. And slow loss, that sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. And widows that I've talked to, like, we bring up the question, like, would you prefer sudden loss? Would you prefer slow loss?
No, there's no comparison.
I know.
Can't compare.
I know. And like the people that I've talked to that have had sudden losses, they're like, they don't know any different, so they don't really know what they prefer. For me, I like the slow loss is like so torturous, and also there's good and bad. It's torturous, and you can also like prepare. Sudden loss, is torturous in a very different way.
Definitely, yeah.
Ugh.
And there's no, yeah. And just like when we talk about like, I don't find it like healthy to compare, you know, how someone's grieving
Yeah.
or what their grief looks like, because every
Totally.
relationship is unique. And that's a poetic thing in and of itself, that we all grieve differently. You can't like really compare how somebody lost somebody and what's more or less difficult. There's aspects that certainly, like having to have hard conversations with Tanner probably was
Yeah.
really helpful.
Yeah, it was.
But watching him go through what he went through every day for years was probably really, really difficult too.
Yeah, that was
And
absolute
so,
hell.
yeah. So I like don't envy that at all.
Yeah.
And it's just all awful. Like all the awful is just bad. And it's hard to compare. There's no point to it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like towards the end of Tanner's life, I got to a point where like I was pleading to earlier in Tanner's sickness, I was totally in the place where you were at, where you're like bargaining with, you know, whoever's up there, and you're like, you know, I'll do this. I think I said to God, I'll stop getting tattoos. So dumb. I'll stop getting tattoos.
Well, I started getting them, so
yeah. Well, it didn't last long because I'm covered. But yeah, just silly bargaining. But like towards the end of his life, he was so miserable that my prayers changed to like, please, like end his suffering because that was just like so miserable to see.
You love him and you don't want to see him like that. Yeah, sure.
What were the moments like at the end for you with Brennan?
Yeah. I mean, something about sudden loss is that like I wish I had more clarity about everything, and it was just so like all encompassing, and it was just, it's kind of like some of it is a blur. Like it certainly isn't, right? But some of it is, because it was just so sudden and so tragic, right? And I mean, your loss is tragic too. That's not what I'm trying to say. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Some of it I don't even know if I like remember all of the details fully. I was not in my right mind. But I do know that like when we had the conversation that like there's nothing we can do. Like we've checked his brain function. There's nothing we can do. I remember going to the floor on the ground of the hospital. Just like powerless, you know, like that permanence just like shudders through your whole body of like that realization that there's nothing that can be done, right? There's nothing I can do to bring him back. And my love, I have all the love. I would cut off every limb. I would trade places with him. I would do anything. And I can't. And that was tough. So I remember falling to the floor, and then they asked me after I'd kind of settled if I wanted to lay in bed with him.
Oh.
So I got to lay in bed with him. And
all right. It's gonna make me cry. Yeah.
So I got to lay in bed with him and just hold him. And then they brought everyone from the waiting room. There were so many people. It was beautiful. All of his medical friends, people from church, his family, my family, you know, friends that golfed with him, like just people that he knew, because he's one of those people that just touched so many people's lives.
Yeah.
They let him all come in, and we were playing his music. There's a song by Lauryn Hill that he loved, Lauryn Hill, called To Zion. And so we played that, and we just listened to his music, and Kanye West was on the playlist, I'm sure, too. He loved Kanye. And I just held him and lay next to him, and we all just said goodbye. They let me have a moment before everyone came in where I got to speak to him, just us two. And that was tough. Like, what do you say? Yeah. How do you say goodbye? It's an impossible thing to do, but yeah, that moment was like beautiful, but it was hard. It was hard. I remember I said to him, like, he always told me like, rain or shine, I'm here. And so it was like, rain or shine, baby, like I'm still here. I'll always be yours, you know? Yeah. It was tough, but those are the big things that I remember and stick out to me. again, it was all a blur. I don't think I showered for 48 hours.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's fine.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't leave his bedside the whole time except for to go to the bathroom. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
was a
think
bit of a blur.
Yeah. I don't think I've showered for definitely more than 48 hours when Tanner was on hospice. So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm so glad they suggested like laying with him.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
beautiful. It was beautiful. I had the best team. Like I have some of their numbers. Like we stay in contact. They came to the next day because he was in medical school. His medical school threw him like a vigil, and they came to that. His nurses and his nurse practitioner, and they were wonderful. So yeah, I'm so glad they did that too because I wouldn't have thought that I could do that. I haven't worked in an ICU, so I wouldn't know. But that was a beautiful thing that I was able to lay next to him and be there.
I don't like the ICU.
No, I hate
that place
ICU.
is hella traumatic.
No, I know. I'm trying to prep for my new job, and I'm sure I'm gonna have to go to the ICU. I mean, it's pediatrics, so it's different. And I'm like, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I don't like that place.
I don't like that place either. They do incredible work, and
Yes,
I appreciate.
for sure.
My brother's an ICU nurse actually, and my heart goes out to those people because seeing that all the time, it's got to be tough. But it's it's tough. It's a tough place to be.
Yeah. What were the next few days like for you? Like what went on? What happened?
You know, we lost him in the afternoon. That's when we said goodbye. And I hadn't left the hospital since he collapsed the 2 days before. So, you know, after that, I remember that they were like, you need to get out of this room for a second. You need to get outside and breathe. So the NP that worked with him and my mom took me outside, and I just bawled. I remember going home after we said goodbye, and the nurse promised me that she'd take care of him for me. Because like leaving him there is so hard. Yeah. I'm sure you know, just like being like bye forever.
Yeah, when they took his body, I like weeped and wailed.
Yeah,
that was probably the hardest thing.
So
for me.
hard to say goodbye, but she was like, "I will take care of him," and that meant so much. I stepped away. We walked out. Walking out of the ICU when you lose your partner is like the weirdest experience, you know? Yeah. And everyone's just looking at you, and yeah, weird. But I walked out, we went home, or to the Airbnb that my family had rented, my in-laws had rented, and I just remember I showered and just bawled and screamed. Then I went to bed and I did the same thing. I just bawled and screamed at the sky. Yeah. And luckily I had people there to like scratch my back and hold me, but there's just nothing you can do. There's nothing that can be said. There's no platitudes that are sufficient to help how you feel in that moment. So I remember screaming and bawling, specifically like, why him? Like, he was so amazing and just was going to do so much good in the world, and he wanted to help people. And then also, like, what about the family? Like, our family? What about our babies? Like, what about the kids that we talked about? Like, we had so many plans, so many things he wanted to do. He wanted to build them a mini golf course, and he wanted to do all these things for them. And that's another thing you grieve in that moment, is just like, that's gone. So, yeah. So then after that night, I'm up, and I hadn't slept for those 2 days either. So I kind of like fell asleep pretty quickly and pretty soundly, but I'd wake up and like, you know, bawl and scream and then fall back asleep. I was consistently being like, what about our family? What about our baby? Like, I feel like we have babies somewhere. Like, I don't know. It didn't make any sense. You know, I was just screaming. And then my sister-in-law heard me. You know, obviously she was there. She was taking care of me, and she was like, what about their babies? Like, why is that not an option? And so, and I'm probably going to miss some of the details because I was not, completely involved or in my right mind. And they didn't want to involve me initially because they wanted to make sure they had things figured out. But she asked her parents and said, do you think it's possible that Brennan's sperm could be retrieved? Is that something that like is even feasible?
Yeah.
And my father-in-law was like, you know what, that thought crossed my mind too. But I don't know. And is Abby ready for that? Is that like too much? I mean, this is so sudden. This is so much. So they were thinking about me and my mother-in-law too. They were all just like, well, I don't know if Abby would be ready for that. But, you know, they were like, I think we should at least like look into it. So my father-in-law literally just marched back to the hospital just down the street that he just said goodbye to his son at. He walked back in and he walked to the front desk and he's like, listen, this is what we want to do. Is it possible? And the front desk people were like, we don't know.
You're asking me about sperm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Plead the fifth. Like, I don't know anything about that. Yeah. Yeah, but I think someone heard him. Someone heard him like walked by, like a doctor or something, and he would know better. But someone heard him talking and was like, I think you need to speak to the urologist or something. And he was like, okay. How do I do that? Like, where do I go? So he ends up just marching right back to the ICU. Like literally the ICU we just walked out of the day before, which I'm sure was just terrible.
Wow, they love you.
Yeah, they love him too and me, and yeah, they're wonderful. He rings the ICU doorbell and he walks in and they know him obviously. And they were like, he just asked, he's like, is this possible? Like, is there a way to get Brennan's sperm? And the person's like, I don't know, but let me go ask. So they go back and like all these doctors and providers get together and they're talking about it. And I guess I don't know who, because I don't remember, he didn't tell me who exactly came up to him, but somebody came up to him from the group and was like, I think this is possible. Like, I think you can do this. The problem was, it was a Saturday. So that makes it tricky. And there's a lot of legalities that go into having to do that, right? So like nowhere's open. How do you get legal documentation that this is okay? And on top of that, you have to do it within 24 to 36 hours. It's a very short time frame in which you can find viable sperm.
Yeah.
So it was like we lost him, had already been almost 24 hours at this point. I think it was like 11 a.m. and we lost him like 1 or 2 in the afternoon the day before. So at this point we're like, oh my goodness, like if we're going to well, I didn't say this because I wasn't there yet, but my father-in-law was like, if we're going to do this, like we have to figure it out now. So they're like, this is what you're going to do. This is what the doctors are telling him. You need to contact like the ethics committee, the ethicist that's on call, and they'll walk you through the process. So he contacts them and they basically kind of run him through what you need to be able to do that. And it's pretty extensive. It's, you have to actually get like a court order signed by a judge that says that I have a legal right to do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like on a Saturday, who knows a judge that's just available on a Saturday. And then they also needed me to express that I wanted that as well. Yeah. So then I called, well, okay. So that happens. And he's like, I think we should talk to Abby about this. Like, I think this is a real possibility. After speaking to the ethicist and the doctors, I think we could try to get this done. I mean, it needs to be done now if it's going to be done. Yeah. So he comes back and he like gets my mom and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. And he starts talking about what they found out about the sperm retrieval. And my mom is like, oh my gosh, yes, like stop talking. Go tell her right now. Let's do it. Go tell her like she needs to know this, you know? And I remember just sitting outside in the backyard and the sun was shining down and the birds were chirping and I felt like Brennan was like communicating with me through the sun and the birds. Yeah. I don't know. But that's what it felt like, that he had like been gray for the 3 days before that. And all of a sudden the sun was out for me. So I'm just sitting there like crying and in my own, who even knows what, in my brain. Yeah. And they come out and everyone huddles around me. And I was like, what is going on? We're having some sort of meeting. And they tell me that, hey, there's a possibility that we could take some of Brennan's sperm for you to be able to use to have the family that you guys were planning on having. Do you want to do that? Like, is that too much? Is that something you're interested in? And I immediately shot up and I was like, give me the phone number. Who do I need to call? I'll call them right now. Like, give it to me. And so I get on the phone, I call the ethicist, and they said, this is what you need to do. And they laid out all the things. I called the nurse practitioner that was supposed to sign his death certificate. I said, don't sign it. He needs to be in the hospital. His body needs to stay there. Yeah. So she didn't sign the death certificate. And then I had to call the IVF clinic who stores the sperm bank, the doctor who runs the lab there.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, just so you know, like, probably not going to happen. Like, the odds that you get everything together and legally we're able to proceed is like next to none. But I'll be like on standby if you get all the things. And so I was kind of like defeated. Wow. And I also couldn't get a hold of him because it was a Saturday, right? So nobody was available. So I had to call like one of their nurses on call who had to call somebody. It was just a mess. So I couldn't even get a hold of the guy. But finally he called me back and he was kind of like, I just want to set realistic expectations. Probably not going to happen. So then, the next step was that in order to do this, we needed legal documentation. And we didn't have an advance directive. Like, we didn't have anything that said, if I pass away, Abby can take my sperm, right? I know and believe I know Brennan better than he's my husband, right? Yeah. So I know that he'd want that for me. But we didn't have anything written down legally. And we were planning on having kids, in the next year. And so my in-laws, my mom, my dad, me, we all felt really comfortable like pursuing the legal documentation. And so then after that, my dad is actually an attorney. So he drafted. I know.
Wow. That's
amazing. He got to draft the document, which was beautiful. He's not an attorney in Virginia. So then we had some attorneys that were in the ward and their clerks that took my dad's draft and adapted it for Virginia law. And it turns out that one of the I think he was a clerk, and I could be mistaken. Sorry if I got that wrong. But he actually lived across the street from a judge because we had to have the documentation signed for by a judge as well. And my family's like, where are we going to find a judge in Virginia on a Saturday? Like, that's not going to happen. Yeah. But the clerk was like, I live across the street from a judge, and I've been kind of looking for an excuse to meet him. So he just goes across the street and knocks on the door. And it's his wife. His wife answers, and he's like, tells the story and like, hey, there's a young couple who her husband like tragically passed away, and they're trying to see if they can get a sperm so she can have the kids that they planned on having. Yeah. And the wife was like, he's not home. He's out hunting, I think. But he's coming home now. Okay. So like she called him up and she's like, get home, like come home now. And he comes home. In the midst of all this, the documentation is being finalized. They bring it over to where we're staying. I have to sign it. Excuse me. Sorry. I have to sign the documentation. My in-laws both have to sign it. My parents have to sign it. To be notarized, right? Mm-hmm. And then it has to be sent back over to the judge. The judge has to review it, and then the judge has to sign it. And then I have to take that documentation to the doctors. Yeah. So all of that happens in like a 5 to 6 hour time period.
That is insane.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
It was like an out of body experience, like that everyone came together to do that for us. Yeah. And like, I truly don't know what I believe in anymore, but I feel like if Brennan is somewhere, then like he had to have helped, with that somehow. I don't know how, but I know he would have wanted that for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're rushing and signing all the documentation again, because we're on a time crunch. It has to be done within 24 to 36 hours. And at this point, it had already been 24. So we're on like when we're signing the documentation, it's probably hour 27, 28, something like that. So we're like, we need to do this. Like the longer you wait, the less viable whatever sperm you get will be. So then, we sign all the documentation. We rush it back over to the judge. The judge signs it. I need to go meet this judge. I still haven't, but signs the documentation on a Saturday when he's off doing, his fun things. And then they rush the documentation. The clerk and the lawyer bring it to the hospital, and I'm there with my in-laws, and he hands it to me. At the same time that he's handing it to me, I think it's around like 5 or 6 p.m. My husband's memorial service is starting at UVA. So I'm late to the memorial because I'm doing this. So I call the doctors. I'm like, I have the documentation. And they'd been sitting at the hospital waiting all day so that they could be ready for whenever it came. It's just like so many nice, wonderful people and like such awful circumstances, But yeah, they came down and they took the documentation and they went up and they're like, we're going to take care of him. And like, we'll call you as soon as we're done. So yeah, it was just crazy. That was my 24 hours after losing him. It was like kind of a whirlwind of emotions, and like, it's a soul crushing experience to lose like the person you love more than anyone. But like, there was like a piece of hope given back, in that like, I can maybe have a piece of him one day if that's what I choose and that's what I want. And his family supports that, and he would love that for me too, So it was like this weird mix of emotions. And right after we handed off the documentation, I went over to the candlelight vigil that we had for him, and it was beautiful. And all of his friends spoke, and some of our family and me, we spoke as well. And while I'm at the vigil and one of his friends was speaking, I get a call from the doctor, and they're like, hey, we took everything we possibly could, and like, we're going to run all the tests and we'll let you know in like a week or two. And that was what happened.
Wow.
Immediately after. That was a lot.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. It was spiritual. It was otherworldly.
Yeah.
Of course, it's like a spiritual experience to watch your partner like leave. That's spiritual. And I don't mean that in like a positive way necessarily, but like, it's something you can't completely describe unless you've been there.
1,000%.
Like, it just feels otherworldly.
Yeah.
But that experience in the 24 hours after also felt otherworldly. Like, it just felt like, how is this happening? And how are like the stars have completely not aligned for me in the last 2 days, but like somehow they're aligning in this way, and it's not the way I wanted, but like, it's still beautiful. And yeah. 2 weeks after that, I got the call from the IVF clinic, and they said, usually we take 6 vials of sperm, and we took everything we could. So we got 18.
Whoa.
I know. And they said every single one is viable. So
wow.
Isn't that beautiful? It's
just
my
gosh.
Crazy. So yeah, that's what happened.
Wow.
That was my time after.
I just want to tell you, I'm so glad that you chose to do that.
I know. Me too.
That your sister-in-law even thought about that.
I would never have thought about it.
Yeah.
I would never have thought about that.
Yeah.
Who would? It's not on your mind right after you lose somebody. So
yeah, like a lot of my widow friends, like they find out about it, much later.
Yeah.
And they're like, I wish I would have known about this, because I totally would have done that. And you brought up earlier that it's controversial. People have said to me, choosing to have Amy Lou, knowing Tanner was going to die, why would you choose to have a kid knowing that their dad is not going to be alive?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't understand the amount of love my daughter gets.
Yeah.
From me, from my parents, from Tanner's parents, from everyone that's ever loved Tanner. I have zero regrets having Amy Lou. She is just, like what you said, having a connection to Brennan. Amy Lou is my connection to Tanner.
Yeah.
And she just heals me.
Yeah.
And if you choose to go that route, I hope you do. But it's your own decision.
I think I will.
Yeah.
I think I will. I just need to be in the right place to do it.
Totally.
And I think because my loss is like in the way it happened is different than yours.
Yes.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And,
Totally okay.
But I agree. I think like I never want it to be a Band-Aid. It's never going to fix what happened.
Yeah.
And if I could go back, if I could do anything, I still would.
Yeah.
Even if that meant, I don't know, right now it feels like even if that meant I couldn't have kids.
Yeah.
I would still want him back, right? He's the love of my life. I love him more than anything. But you don't get a choice in what happens to you or the people you love, but you get a choice in how you proceed, right? And I think you have a piece of them back, but also you get a piece of your future that you got taken away, right?
Yeah.
It's a piece of the future you had planned that otherwise wouldn't be there. It's like, something about you and Tanner that I've seen from watching your videos is that you really took some of the power back, and that like, you're like, we're going to have a funeral while he's here, and we're going to do things to be like, no, we're going to do this on our terms, right? And I think not that it's about that. It's not about taking the power back, but it does give you a piece of the future that you lost in losing your most important person.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone who hasn't lost their partner would really understand it fully. And so I understand why people feel like it's odd or uncomfortable. But because I have the support of his parents and my parents and his siblings and everyone, his friend, like everyone's like, that's amazing.
You and Brennan.
Yeah, everyone's like, that's amazing. And we were gonna have kids within the year anyways. Like that was the plan anyways. And it feels like a way to carry the torch, a way to carry on with the plans that he had.
Yeah.
More so than doing something just for me. It's like to honor him and his wishes, and that was having children and like carrying on his legacy and his name, and that's important to me. Yeah, just as much as like being a mom, that's important to me too, but it's also equally important that like we carry on pieces of our partner that they aren't here to carry on for themselves,
I love that. One of the things I watched Tanner grieve for a long time was being a dad. He wanted to be a dad so badly.
Yeah.
And carrying on that legacy, like he's able to be a dad.
Yeah.
And it looks different. Like we refer to him as her angel dad.
Yeah.
But I know that she feels the love from him, and of course from everyone that's ever loved him.
Totally. Totally. It's gotta be like, I'm sure, and I don't know yet, obviously, but I'm sure there's some level of healing that goes into like having a piece of him here so everyone can pour their love. They can't pour into him, they can pour into her,
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to having that one day when I'm ready.
Yeah.
But not yet. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling better, when I'm feeling more healed and ready to take that on.
Yeah.
Being a mom is a brave thing, and I want to be able to, rise to that challenge when I'm ready.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
How has grief been for you over the last 10 months? So, like, what does it look like?
Every day's different.
Mm-hmm.
Every moment's different. People say pretty awful things, unfortunately, and some people say wonderful things.
People say awful things?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that because I've experienced that, but I'm just surprised that people say awful things to you.
I don't think people are malicious.
Okay.
I think people are grief illiterate.
Oh, wow, grief illiterate. I love that phrase.
Yeah. I think they just don't know, unless you've been through a loss as significant as like a partner or child, somebody who means so much and is part of your everyday in a really like they're present in a lot of your everyday moments. I think it's hard to really know what to say.
Yeah.
And I understand that because I'm sure I was the same. I'd lost my grandpa, but I hadn't lost somebody who was part of my every like waking thought,
Totally.
And so it's a different experience. And so I think people say things to them. I think it makes the situation feel more comfortable or
comfortable for them.
Yeah. I think they think it is more comfortable all around, but I don't think people are malicious about it. What I tell my friends and my family is like, people aren't malicious. They're just sometimes thoughtless. Like they don't take the 2 extra minutes to pause and say, how could I say this in a way that would help her? Right? Instead, I think sometimes people just are like, he would want you to do this, or
hurry up and say, like, they're like, hurry up and say something that
everything happens for a reason, or like, the platitudes that everyone gets, and they're not helpful. So I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's malicious. I just don't think people understand. They're grief illiterate, or they just like haven't taken the full moment to just pause and maybe sit in what I'm feeling. And I don't think everyone knows how to do that. I think that's a skill you have to learn to like develop that level of empathy. So I don't resent anyone for the things they've said, but yeah, some people have been wonderful, and like my best friend Allie has just showed up for me in the most beautiful ways. Like she just lets me cry or laugh or talk about him or whatever I need to do. If I don't want to go hang out, if I do want to go hang out, whatever, she's just game. Like she's just there to do what I need to do. And any decision I've made, she's like, if that's what you need, like I'm there. And there's so many people like that in my life. His family's like that. My family's like that. Talk to my mom every day, So I have so much support. And I think loss has made me realize how good people are in a lot of ways. And that's been beautiful. But at the same time, grief is awful. Like it's the worst thing you can experience. I really, I've had some painful, like physically painful experiences in my life. Nothing holds a candle to the all-encompassing feeling that I have about losing Brennan.
Yeah.
You feel it in like your cells, you feel it in your body, you feel weak, you feel tired all the time.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Feeling in your body. Wow.
Yes. I just feel heavy. Like I'm just like, when you just feel like sometimes your muscles are really tired and you're like, oh, I can't even, like, they're like weak. That's how I feel all day, all the time. So it's that physical side of grief where you just are exhausted in every part of your body, coupled with the torment of this is permanent, I can't do anything to change this outcome. Replaying scenes of losing him.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Have you done any trauma therapy?
I've been holding off because I'm going to do EMDR.
Okay.
I think I need to be in the right headspace. But I also have some other stuff that's been going on, so I just haven't done it, but I'm going to.
Okay.
I just feel like I need to be in the right space, to do it. But yes, I need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like the flashbacks and the thinking, and the guilt. Like, what if I had done this, or what if I had been there? Like, I'm CPR trained, right? I know I've done CPR on people before, and I know exactly what should have been done. And I don't resent anyone that was there. It's nobody's fault or anything, but there's just so many things, so many thoughts that you have on the day, like a daily. It's just, and then there's moments where it's so overwhelming that I feel my brain physically try to, like, not physically, not literally, but doesn't actually disconnect. But
it's just separate from
feels like it does. Yeah. I feel almost like there's a physical separation. There's not, obviously.
Because you're like trying to compartmentalize to function.
Like you can feel, like I can feel the numbness setting in. It's the oddest thing. And then I'm just completely numb and I don't feel anything. And I think that's how I get through it. Unfortunately, is that a lot of I cry a lot, but I also have days where I'm completely numb. Because I think my body and my brain knows that if I'm not, I won't be well. It's a protective mechanism. So it's just like ever changing. And this idea that it should follow some logistical path is just not true. No. It's just, in a minute, I could go from crying to numb. Then I go back to crying 20 minutes later. It's just, you just don't know. And you just kind of have to take it one moment, one breath at a time, and give yourself grace and let people help you. Mm-hmm. Like let it in. I'm not good at that. And like, let people bring you food or like massage your back and like let people show up for you.
Yeah.
And that's all you can really do, unfortunatately. And eventually go to EMDR. get a therapist. Yes. Yeah. That's on the to-dos for sure.
So with his, I call it heavenly birthday in heaven.
Yeah.
So with his heavenly birthday coming up, what do you want to do?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
It's okay if you don't have an answer.
No, you're good. I want to say historically, but it's only been 10 months. But a lot of times on these big days, like our anniversary,
Yeah.
like a lot of me and my birthday, and like I just want to pretend like it doesn't exist. Like I'm not having a birthday. I'm not getting a year older, and he's not gone,
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure. The week before the year mark, my in-laws and me and like my sister and brother-in-law and then his parents and me were all going on a trip like in honor of him.
Oh.
He's a big like ocean beach chilling in the sand, swimming in the ocean kind of guy. So we're gonna go to the beach and they have some like rituals that you do about, I don't even know what they're about, but where you scream in the waterfalls. We're gonna do some of that,
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I need some screaming and stuff. So we're gonna do that. And then on the day, I imagine that I probably need to figure something out to do that honors him. And I don't really know what that looks like because I don't know. Like to me, nothing feels sufficient. Like I don't know that there's anything I can do to.
That's relatable.
I don't know. Yeah, like what can I do that is like as big as who he is to me?
Yeah.
He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know. So that's something that I've thought about and I'm trying to figure out actively.
Okay.
But we are spending some time together before.
Okay.
And taking that trip.
Good.
So that will be good, I think, to honor him.
I like the screaming to the waterfall thing.
Yeah.
Have you been to a rage room?
I need to. See, like I've done like no therapeutic things except for crying in the shower.
Hey,
so
that's very therapeutic. So.
It is my therapy. It's the crying in the shower and getting a good swig drink, honestly.
Yeah. We
got some swigs.
Swig drinks here, so
you gotta.
Like, it's our therapy.
This is how I get through. Literally. No, I'm just kidding. I need to see a therapist, but
what is your swig drink?
I do my own thing.
Okay.
I do Dr. Pepper Zero, raspberry puree, coconut cream, and then sugar-free coconut.
Okay.
It's good.
Good.
I like it.
Good.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's my drink. Yeah.
Okay, last question for you. What is one of your favorite memories of or with Brennan?
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's so many.
You can say more than one.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. And there's so many. And yeah, at his celebration of life, we did it later. Just in the mountains up in. And I decided that the only way I could really express like who Brennan was through all of his stories. Cause like how do you just say like he was hilarious, like, right? He's so funny, he's so smart. But there's so many stories. There's so many stories about all the things that he was and all the things he is to me still. But I think the first thing that comes to mind to kind of express how good of a person he is and like not just what I lost, but what the world lost in losing him because of how good his heart is one time he was in the library studying at medical school and he texted me, he said, "Hey, I'm not going to have my phone for a couple hours. Just like letting you know I'm texting you off my laptop."
Yeah.
I was like, "Why? Like, are you okay? Is everything okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, somebody was in need of a phone. So I just needed to give them my phone and like, I'll talk to you after, like when I get my phone back, I'll text you." And I was like, okay. Kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah.
So then it turns out, a couple hours fast forward and he was in the library and someone approached him and said, "Can I use your phone?" And she looked desperate. Like she looked distraught. She was like, "I need a phone." And it was somebody I think he knew. Okay. Not well, but like knew who she was. And he was like, "Of course." He just like gave her the phone, didn't ask. And then 2 hours later, when she comes back, he gets the phone and he sees on the call log, like when he went to call me, that suicide hotline was called.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't know if like she called it and was like helping a friend or like for herself or like he had no idea. But he had seen like other family members who had dealt with suicidality and struggled with that. And so, again, didn't know this girl well, just knew who she was. Didn't really like talk to her all that much from what I understand. And so he sent her a text and he was like, I have no idea what you're going through. I like have seen people go through depression, and I know how awful that is to walk alone. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you and that I love you. Like, he literally told this girl that he loved her. He didn't even know her. And that, like, I'm here if you want to talk, and if you don't, that's okay. But I'm in your corner. Like, whatever that means, if you're helping somebody else and you need support in that, if you are struggling yourself, like, I love you.
Mhm.
And that was his message to her.
Wow.
And he came home and told me that, and I read the message. I remember I just started crying, and I just like gave him the biggest hug. I was just like, I love you. You're just an amazing person, and I'm so lucky. And like, that story just, there's so many other facets of Brennan, like beyond just the goodness that he has and had. But like, that story just really tells you all you need to know about his soul and like what he was here to do in this world. And what he was doing is he was just loving people.
I love
And he would have been the most amazing physician, and my heart breaks that the world didn't get that, and that he didn't get to see that come to fruition. It breaks because he would have changed and did change so many lives just by being himself and being his, kind-hearted self that he is. So that's probably the first story that comes to mind about him.
I love, yeah, that illustrates so much about him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I think you are amazing. And obviously,
Thank
like,
you.
Brennan chose you because you
I
have
appreciate
those same
that.
qualities.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I don't know about what heaven looks like or anything like that, but I do think that Brennan and Tanner are just having a tea party right now.
They're probably cracking some jokes.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of Tanner, he seemed like a hoot like Brennan.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure they're just laughing. And I saw you posted a video of Tanner and his laugh. I don't remember when that was, but like how you missed his laugh. And
Yeah.
Brennan had like such a like high-pitched cackly laugh. And I miss it so much. And I'm sure they're just laughing together. And everyone's like, who are those crazy kids laughing their heads off?
I love thinking about that. Thank you for sharing your story with all of us, Abby. I'm so glad you live so close so we can.
No, I live like 5 minutes or like 10 minutes on the road.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
right now.
You can hang out with us young hot widows.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I need some therapeutic girl time for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah.